Hello everybody, Sunday, August 25th. Truth be known, I was debating before this video, do I put the hat forward or backward? So this is what it is. Next, last video I spoke of writing, and I want to talk about fitness in this video predominantly, and more so, getting ripped. Now let's sort of define that. Getting ripped, to me, has always been maximal lean muscle mass and minimal body fat. Now really anybody can get skinny or thin, but the trick of things is to hold on to or even yield more muscle mass and lose body fat. That's why for nearly 20 years, I was a personal trainer. That's the equation with which most clients want to achieve. That's with a big chunk of my fitness books are about that. Also with certain other things, getting older in some of the books and performance and this and that, but largely compositionally, maximum lean muscle and minimal body fat. And certainly over the years, I've read tons of books and tons of magazines. I had a friend help me for my bodybuilding shows with my nutrition. But I will say largely the training has always been on what made sense to me and my body type and structure. And really, getting ripped is really a matter of time, of being consistent and persistent. And I say this a lot, of doing what brought you to the dance in the first place. I've said this before. A few weeks after my first bodybuilding show, there was a competitor. He was in a different weight class, but he came over to me, and I'll never forget. He said, "Why are you training so heavy?" And I said as respectfully as I could, and sometimes I overshare, but I said something like, well, this is my first show, and I just believe that if I don't train heavy as I can, I'll lose muscle. And he kind of was like, whatever. And, I won. I won my show, and in one of the weight classes, and then in the other I placed high, and I was pleased, and I went by my instinct. So right away, this low weight, high rep thing, it never made sense to me. Maybe a set at the end of the workout, to flush more blood in there, but it always made sense to me to do what brought you to the dance in the first place, to train as heavy as you can up to a show so you maintain muscle mass. You're certainly not going to accrue more muscle up to a show because you're on a restricted caloric allotment, but you can certainly do your best to maintain. And therefore, what do you do to lose body fat? Cardio, you manipulate your food or your diet. I don't like that word, but your nutrition. And in bodybuilding, as far as we're talking here, posing. I would pose every day to get more control over the muscles, to harden the muscles. Believe me when I tell you that when you're on a bodybuilding stage and you are compared, it's really hard, because you have to not only be flexed when the judges have you there, you have to be flexed at all times, because they're always looking. So even if you're not in the first comparison and you might be in the lineup, they're looking at you. You want to be ready and flexed. So it is quite something. You want to be prepared for that. You want to be to the point of, my mindset was like, call me all you want. I could do this all day, which I couldn't, but that was the mindset of like, I practice, let's go. I worked for it. So the thing is to, magazines are largely a thing of the past. They're still out there, but YouTube is huge today, so watch your videos, learn all you can. Even if you get one gem from this video, I'm happy. You may not agree with everything I've said here, and that's cool. Be instinctive. I think we change things up too much today in the 2019 when things aren't seemingly working. Everything takes time. We live in this, I call it the Big Mac society, where people want it their way and they want it now. It doesn't work that way in bodybuilding and fitness. It takes time. So what I would do is take a calendar. I would pick a show, and I would count back, say, and I needed always at least 12 weeks to get ready of serious dieting. I hate that word, but of strict nutritional protocols, and my training was always heavy and good year-round. I never believed in really slacking. I was always trying to get gains or increase my strength year-round. You can't always do that, but to me it was like very important that I was better, noticeably so, from one show to the next. I never subscribed to this mentality of, I'll do multiple shows and see how I do. I had to look better each year, and I did, or to me it was a complete failure. And I mean that, regardless of beating other competitors or not. That was always my mindset of beating last year's model. And I achieved that by training heavy, full range of motion, getting the training down, slowly manipulating the nutritional portion. For example, and I've said this before, earlier in the protocol I might be having more flank steak or more salmon, excuse me, or ground turkey. A little bit later I would manipulate that to turkey breast, some fish, chicken breast. Make slow changes. I wouldn't do anything quick. Everything was slow and methodical, constantly taking videos, constantly having pictures taken, constantly, my friend, I would go to him and he would shut the door and he'd say, shirt off, quarter turn, let's see what you look like, and you get an objective eye that would say, all right, you're a little flat this week, we got to add more calories, or you're right on target, or whatever. At the end of the day, the final decision was always up to me, but I try to put my ego aside and listen to those that knew what they were talking about, walk the walk as well. I always like taking advice or help from competitors, from people that actually put themselves through this themselves. And, a lot of times we can't look in the mirror or see what we're really seeing, or even like, I'm one of these people, I've always been, I'm far from perfect, but if I'm wrong or hurt someone's feelings, I am the first to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And it pertains here to bodybuilding because I've always been able to look in the mirror and go, you know what? I look like crap, or I'm looking all right. You have to really learn to be honest with yourself, because you're the one at the end of the day that's up there on stage in your underwear posing in front of hundreds of people. It's you. And be honest with yourself. And it's a great quality when you can really, I do it with my writing. Sometimes I'll write something and I go, that's crap. Ugh. And I'll throw it out or start over. We can always improve in anything. So slow adjustments are very important. Training as heavy as you can in decent form all the way up to the event is very important, so you hold on to muscle mass. Slow changes. I would never add a day of weight training. It's always really been 4 days a week for me. It's really never changed. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. When I started, I did let's train everything twice a week, and I think I started at one time with 6 days on, 1 day off, and all I got was small and overtrained, and I felt terrible. So I think experimentation is a good thing because you learn your body, with foods and training and everything and how things affect your body. But when you're competing or doing a photo shoot or something like that, the time for experimentation is over. You want to do what brought you to the dance. You want to yield real positive results, things that are going to help you to achieve your best. And it's human nature to second guess ourselves sometimes, but what is not good is when we change things up, we don't give things a chance. And I always thought things through. If I was making somewhat of a progress, even a percentage, week to week, I would stick with it. Rarely would I completely change anything because I would really think things through and say, first of all, does this even make sense on paper? And then apply things, and learn to take lessons when they make sense, and learn to put the ego aside. When I was a kid, I remember I loaded too much weight on the squat bar, and I did what most people do, is terrible reps. Plus, my knees were going past my toes, which could invite knee injury. And I remember someone said, cut the weight in half and go down till your thighs are parallel and push through your heels. And rather than be a smart ass, I said, thank you, sir. And you know what I did? That very workout, I listened. And guess what happened? My legs grew. They really did. Because it made sense. What he said to me, and I put the ego aside. So that's another thing I think we need to work on. But getting ripped, and it's of course easier said than done, is going to take time and patience and persistence, and it can be done if you really want it. I am a constant believer in putting up a picture. I used to put the picture on my fridge of the guy that won the show from the year prior that I was going to compete in, and I would look at that picture and I would say, that's where I want to be, in the winner's circle. I still believe in positive motivation. I just ordered 4 Rocky Rambo t-shirts. They just came yesterday. I'm gonna wear them to the gym. I did a post earlier about that today. And I think whatever gets you motivated and excited, if it's a new pair of shoes, if it's a hat, a shirt, whatever, music, use whatever you can, you know, to help motivate you to be better than you are. And if it doesn't make sense, don't do it. There are so many gym experts and doctors out there, you know, that come up to you, you're not doing it right. You're not pressing enough weight. Ignore these people. Go with what works. Go with your instinct. Stay passionate, stay motivated. And yes, it's very hard. I'm one of these people, I have to suffer to get in shape. I have good genetics, but I also can get heavy or fat even pretty easily. So, you know your strengths and weaknesses. Some people, they're hard gainers. It's hard for them to put on muscle, but yet the tissue they have is largely fat-free. You know, they're lean people. Learn to work within the gifts you've been given and the parameters you have. It doesn't mean you can't improve, because that's why we're in this game. You can improve. And you know, I have tricks too for when the diet gets really tough. I watch a lot of man versus food videos. They somehow help me because I'm living vicariously through the person eating food. Or sometimes I'll go out with people and I'll buy them a meal or something and I'll watch them eat. I know it sounds weird, and I'll ask them about the meal and they'll kind of look at me, you know, but they'll understand that I can't eat this right now. Like, there are many things you can do. And I've said this before, I think revenge is a really great thing to hold on to. Not revenge to harm anybody else, but use revenge if you've been hurt in the past, and think about that and say, I'm gonna stick this you-know-where. Not literally, but revenge is a great thing to hold on to. When someone doubts you, it's a wonderful thing to show people and say, okay, I will show you. And when you take that energy and you internalize it and you put it into your endeavors, it's an awesome thing. And it doesn't matter if you even get the one day, you know, I'm proud of you from those people that hurt you. It doesn't matter. What matters is you completed the journey. What matters is you're better than you were before. You know, and one day we're not going to be here anymore. That's just the way it is. We're not. Life seems to be going rather quickly. I can't believe I'm going to be 44 in next month. And I think life is about the moments, and it's about what you did do or did attempt to do as opposed to what you didn't do or couldn't do. And nobody can take that away from you. So I guess I'll leave you with this. You want to get ripped, you can get ripped. It comes down to how bad you want it. Form a plan, ask questions, seek out knowledge, and do what makes sense, what is instinctively feeling right to you. Have a great day. Peace.